With the release of the finale of Arcane, and Riot confirming that Mel Medarda was joining League's ever-growing roster, I thought it would be pretty fun to go over every Mel scene from the show and try to come up with ideas of what her abilities might be in-game. I am fairly confident in at least 3 out of the 4 spells, with the 4th one being a toss-up between 2 abilities shown in the show. Let's get into it.
I'm one of you? A mage?
Mel is described by LeBlanc as
An empath, able to sense others' inner selves and bend their magic. A conduit and a mirror.
she's a spell-based champion, one that uses the enemy's strength against them, while also supporting her allies in need. Starting with Mel's passive, no one can deceive light. Mel senses danger, highlighting nearby traps and enemies in bushes. Her keen perception also prevents her from being tricked by clones, seeing the real enemy highlighted in red. This idea is inspired by her ability to see through deception in Arcane. For instance, when she realizes that LeBlanc was using Kino as a puppet. She also tells LeBlanc in the last fight,
I see your face, deceiver.
while this is a simple passive compared to some recent champion, it fits her theme perfectly and provides a niche utility that's strong but not too overpowered. Moving on to Mel's Q, light comes both ways. Most range support's Q abilities are a skill shot with a little bit of utility. Think Lulu Q, Karma Q, or Janna Q. So I believe hers to follow the same trend, and I think we saw it clearly in the show. Light Comes Both Ways is a skill shot that separates into 2 paths, collapsing into a small explosion, slowing enemies on impact. It is very similar to Diana's Q if it went both ways, with a little bit of Renata E in it. And this is where the complications arise. 2 abilities that could fit a W spell seem to be shown to us during Mel's fight scenes. The first one, where she casts her light in a line, ruining Victor's puppet long enough for Jace to yoink the kill. And the second one happens during the final battle. Mel creates a wave of light, pushing back every enemy in her path, similar to a Syndra E. Before we finalize her W, let's explore her E, which could be the defining ability of her whole kit.
I did appreciate your warmth.
I think we can all agree on that one. Based on the scene when it's used, and LeBlanc's definition of Mel, Light Prism. Mel casts reflecting light around her teammates, or herself, shielding them and reflecting enemies' projectile back at them. To balance its strong effect, the shield wouldn't last long, acting more as a parry than a full-on shield. This would be a one-of-a-kind ability, and would be Mel's main identity as a champion. Imagine bouncing back a late-game Vigar R onto them. And the most important ability, one we also in action during the first scene of Arcane Season 2, even Jace realized when she used it.
You're the reason we didn't die in the attack.
Protective Light. Mel dashes to an ally, creating a field of light, healing her teammates inside, while also reflecting projectiles. This is how she saved herself from Jinx's bomb at the end of Season 1. Whenever we get a shot of the cancel, we can see a circle that wasn't damaged by the attack where Mel was standing. I think this is a clear indication of that ability in action. There is one scene I haven't mentioned yet. Mel was able to free herself from the shackles of LeBlanc, not once, but twice. That to me seems to indicate a cleanse ability. And her W is where I would put it. Empathic Cleanse. Mel fires light in a straight line, rooting every enemy caught in it. If the ability goes through a stunned/rooted teammate, they are cleansed and the ability roots the enemy for longer, using the enemy's strength against them. And there you have it, Mel Medarda's potential champion kit. One with clear strengths and weaknesses. She is strong against spellcasters, but she really struggles against melee enemies, which was both shown to us and told to us through the show.
Your power has merit.
But should one want you dead, a simple blade would do nicely.
Mel's kit would bring something completely fresh to the Rift. A mix of information, protection, and retaliation. I think she would be fairly well received by the community after the initial assault about her Reflect being broken, for her simple design and for not being bullshit. What do you think? Do you agree with my assessment of her abilities? Or did you notice something that I missed? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe while you're at it. It really helps me keep these videos coming.